A Rockets trade is now imminent, with new reports saying that Cam Whitmore is being shopped around the entire NBA and will be traded before the start of next season. We'll tell you who a likely trade candidate could be and all the latest on Cam right here on Rockets Digest. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Jace Andrews. I appreciate you joining us. If you're new here, go down there, hit that subscribe button. We are the fastest growing Rockets YouTube channel, and the Rockets are winning the offseason is the word on the street. Plus, it seems as though there are more moves to come. So if you want to stay up to date on all the news and information regarding your H-Town team, then go down there and subscribe today. Cam Whitmore is an interesting case for the Houston Rockets because it seemed as though when they signed Dorian Finney-Smith that Cam was here to stay, because original reports were that they were going to trade Cam for DFS. And now they have DFS and Cam is still on the team. And I was like, okay, we're going to keep him. Well, the Athletic's Kelly Iiko had a report today that suggests otherwise, saying the Rockets will continue to work on finding Cam Whitmore a new home via trade. Once again, this all coming via Kelly Iiko of the Athletic. And this was after initial reports were saying that the Houston Rockets were going to keep Whitmore this season. Now it seems more likely that he's actually headed on his way out. And Cam is an interesting case for a couple of different reasons. This guy's a good basketball player. He's young. He's only 20 years old, turning into 21 here in a couple days. And he averaged about 10 points per game this past season. And, his field goal percentage is good. His defense is good. He has a lot of good intangibles. He was supposed to be a top 5 pick, dropped down to the 20s where the Rockets got him. And now all of a sudden the Rockets are kind of just like, I don't want to play with you anymore. I don't think you fit this organization. You don't fit this timeline. And so it's kind of interesting when you look at a guy like Reed Sheppard, who's pretty comparable to him, and they love Reed. They were actually very hesitant to trade Reed for Kevin Durant, and it seems as though reports are saying Cam Whitmore was actually offered up to Phoenix, and Phoenix also said, we're good, we don't want him. So I don't know if there's something behind the scenes. I don't know if there's something underlying that we don't know about, but it's just an interesting case when you look at Cam Whitmore and kind of see what's going on. Now, there's a couple of teams that are potential options for Cam Whitmore, and we got this report from Mike Scotto saying the Denver Nuggets and Chicago Bulls were showing interest in Cam Whitmore. Here's the quote from the actual article saying Houston Rockets swingman Cam Whitmore has drawn trade interest from the Chicago Bulls before the Isaac Okoro acquisition and Denver Nuggets among others. This all coming from league sources. So the Bulls are probably out of it after the Okoro acquisition. Cam Whitmore is a player that is cheap, young, and for the Nuggets, who are in an interesting spot financially, would be a good acquisition. And so that's kind of where we go into more on the report of the Denver Nuggets and what a trade would look like. This comes from Athlon Sports saying, quote, "It will not be easy navigating trade discussions with rival teams," which the Nuggets, being in the Western Conference, are a rival team of the Houston Rockets in terms of trying to get to that NBA Finals. Now, there is lack of financial flexibility, and there's lack of trade assets on Denver's disposal, and any upgrades made by the Nuggets would likely be viewed as quote-unquote sneaky ones. Okay, well, I would classify Cam Whitmore as a sneaky acquisition because there was thousands of reports this entire year that Cam was going to break out in this upcoming season. Cam was going to break out. He's going to be a star. He's going to be good. And now the Rockets are dead set on trading him. They're dead set on saying we're going to get him a new home. And whether that's because he doesn't fit the timeline for whatever reason anymore, whether that's because they don't want him to play a guard position and the forwards are really full right now. I mean, there's just not space for him in the forwards area. So what exactly does a trade look like? How does this deal get done? Well, we kind of first have to start and really look at what exactly the depth chart looks like for a Denver Nuggets team. And there's not much left on here. Obviously, they traded for Cameron Johnson, got rid of Michael Porter Jr., but Jamal Murray, Christian Braun, Johnson, Gordon, and Jokic, their starting five. They also signed Bruce Brown as a depth piece, so I'm looking at a potential trade for a guard and a shooting guard. It would be kind of my thought. So I'm a little curious to see what exactly the Rockets would do. Now, there is one note I want to make that people talking about Cam Whitmore, and I think there's a lot of discourse in the comment section I'm seeing, we should keep Cam. I want to keep Cam. Why? No reason to trade Cam. We also got this report about Cam saying that he was almost traded for Kevin Durant. Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype said, quote, It's worth noting Whitmore was nearly traded to the Phoenix Suns in a Kevin Durant trade. League sources told Hoops Hype this. Instead, Phoenix opted for more future second-round draft picks compensation. Okay, so let me get this straight. The Rockets want to trade Cam Whitmore. People have talked about him of being a young, talented player in the league. He was almost traded in the Kevin Durant trade. And the Phoenix Suns said, we would rather have second-round draft picks in future drafts than Cam Whitmore, who was a first-round pick not even a couple years ago. Is there something we're missing? Like, is his attitude wrong? I know the coaching staff hasn't really, been a fan of Cam, if that's the right word to say. Like, the Ime Udoka is not, he's praised Reed Shepherd. He praises a lot of his players on his team. He hasn't really praised Cam. He hasn't, gone out and said, oh, yeah, he's going to be big for us. It's more or less been Ime Udoka when asked the question, we'll assess our future and see if he fits in there. And all accounts the Saucian are that he does not fit in there. And so the roster for the Denver Nuggets, there's not much here that I would think that would be worth trading Cam in my mind. What about draft picks, right? What about draft picks? There's not really much there. They own their own first-round pick in this upcoming year. That's great. But then the only way they own their next 2027, 2028, 2029, 2030 pick is if it's picks 1 through 5. If it's picks 6 through 30, it goes to OKC or other protections. Now they also have a 2031 pick of their own, but okay, how about second-round picks? Because obviously second-round picks, maybe they can get a couple second-round picks for Cam Whitmore. Well, they don't really have any of those either. So what in the world is the option here for the Denver Nuggets to trade for Cam Whitmore? Like who is the guy that we could see? I gotta be honest. I question and I look at the roster and think, okay, what would I think would be worth it for Cam Whitmore? And I'm like, I want a guard, and they just got Bruce Brown and they signed him. So, I'm going to be greedy on this first one and say Christian Braun. I think Christian Braun would be a perfect guy for the Houston Rockets to grab. 15.4 points per game. He's really young, just 24 years old. His field goal percentage is absolutely phenomenal. Can move the ball. He's 6'6" as a guard. He is a perfect fit for the Houston Rockets. He's on a rookie deal. It's expiring coming up in the next coming years. This would be a perfect trade, right? You're getting an expiring contract, and it's a rookie deal. It's more or less a rental for the Rockets, but if the Nuggets are built on trying to rebuild, I'm going to be quite honest, the Denver Nuggets GM, who just fired Mike Malone, who I thought was an amazing head coach, also brought up trading Nikola Jokic out of the blue a couple days ago, or a week or so ago. I don't know what they're wanting to do. And now, Christian Braun is a good player. He's been in the league for 3 years and really broke out this season, averaging 15.4 points. His three-point percentage was the highest it's ever been. His field goal percentage was way higher than league average, going at 58%. And it'd be a hard thing for the Denver Nuggets to trade a guy like Christian Braun. So, okay, that's me being greedy, and I think what Cam Whitmore might be worth in my mind. Probably not going to happen. What about somebody else? Okay, well, let's go back here to this depth chart. What else is going to happen? Because we know the picks aren't there for the Denver Nuggets. I'm looking at guards. Jalen Pickett is not who I want. Bruce Brown, they just signed. What about Julian Strawther? What if he would be a good pick for the Houston Rockets? I look at his stats here and see that he averaged 9 points per game. He's a 6'7" guard at 23 years old. Was a first-round pick in the draft 2 years ago. I think he would be a perfect guy for the Rockets as well. His field goal percentage above 400, above .43. So he fits the vibe well. His defense isn't great, but the defense on the Rockets is honestly so good that I think they can take a little bit of a non-defensive guy and they can turn him into a defensive guy. I don't think that's out of the question. So yeah, what about Julian Strawther? Maybe he's an option for the Houston Rockets to trade, but he's not going to be warranting that big of a contract. There's not much. And again, I just look at this Houston Rockets roster and I look at Cam Whitmore and I'm like, okay, Amen Thompson is labeled as a shooting guard because they want him to move to the 1 eventually. That's the goal. He's a small forward, though, in a lot of aspects. So I need a guard. Like, I need a guard, a true guard. Cam's not that. And as of right now, our point guards are VanVleet, Holiday, and Thompson, and the Reed Shepard. Like, the forwards are fine. I'm not worried about the forwards. We have 3 different centers. Not to mention, DFS could play center if we needed him to. I'm just kind of sitting here like, I need a guard. Like, if we're going to trade Cam Whitmore, I need it to be for a guard or for picks. And so, in that aspect, it's Julian Strawweather or Christian Braun. I think Strawweather's probably Strawther, is the better acquisition. Or not the better acquisition, the more likely one, but Christian Braun is like the better acquisition. I'm just a little confused, to be honest. Like, I like Cam. I think he is a good player. I think he has a lot of potential. And yet, it seems like even the league doesn't want him in some ways. Like, obviously the Nuggets are interested, the Bulls were interested, but yeah, I just don't know. I'm very curious to see how this plays out. But obviously, if we go back kind of in this tweet here, we can kind of see the Rockets are going to trade Cam Whitmore. Like, that is going to happen here before the end of the offseason. Now, I mean, that also gets some money off the books. Maybe they're just trying to go for picks for him. But yeah, I'm curious. I'm very curious for him. I'm very curious for a potential sign-in trade from DFS or for Clint Capella as well. We just have to wait and see now, because there's going to be a trade happening, and it's just about when. It's really just about when. That's to be quite frank with you. So that's why in my video by saying, if you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that button. We're the fastest when it comes to breaking news on your Rockets team. And as we said yesterday, literally, like, immediate signing for Mr. DFS. Got that video up on the channel, and then right after that they signed Clint Capella, and we posted the video about an hour, 2 hours later after that, just so we could give it a little space, and had that up there as well, like right away. So yeah, I mean, it's a fun time to be a Rockets fan, I'll tell you that for sure. But I'm curious how this plays out, and I think that's all I got for you this time. So let me know in the comment section your thoughts on this. What are they doing with Cam? What are they going to do? We appreciate you joining us, though, and we will see you next time here on Rockets Digest. Peace out, guys.